2 weeks ago, we heard Luke's account of Jesus teaching the disciples to pray. Last week was the parable of the rich man building the bigger barns, which we considered alongside that prayer, particularly the petition for daily bread, thinking about enough versus excess. This week, we get to the phrase that seems to sum it all up. Where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. It kind of rounds out these selected passages. Though we've missed some verses and stories in between, reading these ones in light of each other actually does kind of catch the narrative and gives us some layers to our understanding so that we see a little bit more of the bigger picture. Where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Stewardship. What do you prioritize, and how is that shown? Or, maybe more accurately, what do you show you prioritize, and how accurate is that? We, the Lutheran Church of Our Redeemer, we have a statement about where our heart is. We do. We've tried to make it a little bit more visible in recent months. It's there on the front of your bulletins, if you take a look there. It's a statement about where our heart is, where we want it to be, what we want to be and do in our mission and ministry. It's the mission statement. A growing, caring gathering of Christians who share the gospel of Jesus Christ in word, sacrament, and service. So that's our heart. What about our treasure? Well, the budget is the most obvious answer, and we'll be in that season in just a couple short months where we, try to figure out how to best steward the financial support for this congregation in a way that works to fulfill the mission statement. Currently, we are doing that. We are living in the budget that we decided on last year to try to do the same, to create events and programs and opportunities to live out our faith, to gather, to grow, to care. Where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Notice the passage doesn't say, put your treasure where your heart is, but where your treasure is, there your heart will be. So what you invest in will become important to you. Interesting. And it's also important to just note that, money and finances are not the only thing that we have to invest. Our time and our presence make a difference in what happens in our lives and our mission and our church lives as well. Putting together a great event only works if people participate, help volunteer, organize, prepare, and actually show up for it. And in our current society, I feel fairly confident in saying that our time is something we treasure. I know it is for me. And I think the second part of our gospel reading for today speaks a little bit to that stewardship of ourselves, showing up, being ready, having things prepared. What does it take to prepare for something great, something you care about, something significant? Let's look at the metaphor in the reading. In order to be ready for the master's return, the servants would have had to, cook a meal or have some food on hand? In order to do that, they would need to go shopping for that food or gather it somehow. They would have had to probably be dressed in their proper uniforms or their daytime clothes at least. And in order to do that, those clothes would have need to be cleaned, so washing those clothes. Having the lamps lit, making sure that they are stocked up on oil so that those lamps can be lit. And in order to be alert, at some point, they would have also had to rest, right? Being prepared consists of so many tasks, and those tasks kind of have their own tasks in order to be able to be completed. And it takes investment and effort from everyone to have that master arrive at a house that's ready. Teamwork, each doing their part and their work, and taking their turn at resting too, so that they are ready and alert to work again. Stewardship of ourselves, working, resting, and being ready. Can you think of something that you've had to work at to really prepare for, to put effort into and be intentional about? For myself, I've been getting ready for a couple of 10Ks this fall. And that's, not a natural thing for me. I do have to put in some very intentional effort to get ready for that. And of course, it's a very different thing from what we're talking about here. It's a little bit more individual, but it's maybe not as far away as we think. I mean, first of all, I have to register, and there's a fee for that. So pretty literal investment, even to begin with. And then to be ready, I have to run, of course, right? To build up my fitness and my endurance so that I can actually make it through the course okay, actually finish the run. And something that I've learned, kind of like as we're talking about getting the house ready earlier, is that running is more than just the one task, more than just, getting out the door and running. I also have to make sure that I stretch and hydrate and eat certain foods so that I have the energy to run. And believe it or not, I have to rest. Enough water and a good night's sleep are crucial to running well, or at least competently, to doing my best. Not necessarily the best, but that's beside the point. What is interesting, though, is over the course of this getting ready, and especially the last couple of weeks, I've noticed a difference in my habits and in my attention to certain parts of my day. Having invested in them, I've come to value them. I value my time on the trail, actually running, processing through other parts of my day even as I'm doing that. The trails themselves and the maintenance teams that keep them, ready to be run on. The others who are out there walking or biking or running as well. A smile and a wave at another person out there can change the tone of a whole mile for me. And honestly, just feeling better and appreciating the run itself. I actually saw a deer the other day on the trail, and I got to see that because I was out there. I had the energy to run that course and to look up at the same time and to see and appreciate that. I've come to value these things. And so that's just, one little other example. But what have you had to prepare for? What's your example? And how do you understand the work you put into that goal? Now, what can you bring from that understanding, which really is your own metaphor or parable? What can you bring from that understanding that would transfer to our reading for today, and even our work together as a faith community? Now, we'll revisit this theme again several weeks from now, but for right now, it's maybe a good start to consider how we think about all of this, what it takes to be stewards of our lives and ministry and mission as the Lutheran Church of Our Redeemer, and what we might do or need to do or give or be to work towards realizing that. Amen.